Built in central Paris, Notre-Dame Cathedral is France's best-known religious structure, as well as being one of the country's oldest cathedrals and the world's third-largest Gothic cathedral. It stands on Place Parvis, a small island in the River Seine called Ile de la Cité. Its historical significance and beautiful architecture astonish anyone who passes by and make the cathedral one of France's most popular tourist attractions, with around 13 million visitors every year. French novelist and poet Victor Hugo brought Notre-Dame Cathedral into the mainstream due to his famous literary work, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which was also adapted into a film. In French, Notre Dame means Our Lady, and the cathedral's name was a tribute to the Virgin Mary, Mother of Jesus Christ. But there are indications that, much earlier, the same site had been used for Celtic religious services. The Romans then built a temple, dedicated to Jupiter, god of the sky and thunder. Some evidence suggests that there was even a Roman city called Lutetia. The Basilica of Saint-Étienne was one of the first Christian churches in the French capital. It is also believed to have existed on the same spot. This was later replaced by a Romanesque-style church, until, in March 1163, Maurice de Sully, the Bishop of Paris, and Louis XVII, the King, agreed to begin work on the Notre-Dame Cathedral, whose design was based on Gothic architecture, symbolizing the new European spirit. The works lasted 182 years, and Notre Dame was only finished in 1345, almost 2 centuries after. This religious monument has since been part of several notable events in French history. Henry VI, one of the most significant monarchs in English history, was declared King of France after the 100 Years' War and crowned at Notre Dame in 1431. The cathedral was pillaged during the French Revolution, and some Catholic and monarchist statues were torn down. Notre Dame was then looted and used as a warehouse. When the French Revolution was over, the Notre Dame Cathedral moved away from its Catholic duties and started to be used for other celebratory purposes, such as the cult of reason, which highlighted human beings and their capacity for knowledge, and the cult of the Supreme Being, a new kind of religion which arose in the country, supported by Robespierre. During Napoleon Bonaparte's rule in 1801, the cathedral became a Catholic church again. In 1804, Napoleon himself was crowned Emperor of France. Throughout the years since its construction, the cathedral has undergone multiple restorations and changes. The French authorities even considered tearing down the cathedral in the 19th century, as it was in a precarious state of preservation, and the building has suffered deterioration. But in 1831, when the book Notre-Dame de Paris, better known as The Hunchback of Notre Dame, was published, the site won widespread admiration, preventing it from being demolished. King Louis-Philippe I ordered the site to be restored in 1844, and these renovations took around 23 years to be completed. In the 1890s, the building also needed repairs, which lasted more than a decade. This famous structure's architectural details are stunning. There are 2 69-meter towers on its facade. The cathedral houses more than 200 colorful stained glass windows displaying biblical passages, some of which are considered to be the world's largest. The rose windows also impress. This is a traditional Gothic cathedral ornament, and in the North Dome, the largest ones, which are the north and south ones, have a 13-meter diameter. They include images of saints, angels, the Virgin Mary, and Jesus Christ. The gargoyles hanging over sections of the building are one of the cathedral's main hallmarks. Some claim that these sculptures are meant to ward off evil, although some interpret them as evil symbols themselves. There are many other statues making up its architecture, including 37 representations of the Virgin Mary. The cathedral is also home to beautiful paintings, ogival arches, and bells. One that stands out is the Bourdon Emmanuel, weighing a whopping 13 tons and housed in the South Tower. It is the oldest bell. It only tolls on exceptional occasions, such as presidential funerals and visits by the Pope. For this reason, it has only been sounded 84 times since it was placed in the tower in 1681. One of its most striking chimes occurred in 1944 during the Second World War, when its sound heralded the Parisians that the French capital was now free from Nazi domination. Its organs are another notable element, including one that started being made in the 15th century, and, after having undergone some alterations up until the 18th century, now has 5 keyboards and around 8,000 pipes. Apart from all the political considerations, its numerous renovations, and architectural splendor, Notre-Dame Cathedral also stands out for other details. One of these is a statue of St. Joan of Arc, a military leader who took part in the 100 Years' War, becoming one of France's most important women, beatified in this very cathedral. Outside the entrance to the western part of the building, which is on Place Parvis, is Point Zero, a bronze plaque regarded as the starting point from which the distance of France's roads is calculated. A fire engulfed Paris's most acclaimed cathedral in April 2019. The flames destroyed a part of its structure, sending a huge shock through the French people and touching the entire world. Repair work is already underway, but currently there are no estimates as to when it will be completed. Notre-Dame Cathedral is one of France's most recognizable symbols and one of the most beautiful religious buildings on the entire European continent. It preserves a significant part of Paris's history and features imposing Gothic architecture inside and outside. These many events were part of its past and its magnificent beauty. Hopefully, its restoration after the latest fire will allow this major historical landmark to survive for many hundreds of years more.